Hi Lee, what's your reflections after the draw against Norwich last weekend?
Well, always the same really. Do you know what I mean? Disappointed not to get the 3 points in any game. Very, very pleased with many elements of the performance, and quickly reviewed and moved on to the important game against Derby.
What did the video review throw up? Anything in particular, or anything you didn't know?
No, just coaching points really. You know, like we talked about how we manage games. We talked about certain instances in games. So, for example, scenario. So, if you're 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go, do you know what I mean? How do you want to act as a player? And often players revert to type. So, in moments of stress or crisis or fear or opportunity, everybody acts differently. Often the defenders will want it away from the goal as quickly as possible, and midfielders want to take it and do Cruyff turns on the edge of their 18-yard box. So it's just making sure that everybody's in sync and aligned with how we shut out final minutes of games. And then a couple of defensive errors that we will always go over as a team and as a unit moving into the next game.
After the match, I bumped into Mark Ashton out there, and I don't think I'm betraying any confidences to say that we both agree that Bristol City just feel like they're not far away from clicking, getting that maybe result that makes them kick on in the table. And if you'd got the extra 2 points of the weekend, you'd have been 10th or something, and not too far away. So, yeah. Is that how it feels to you as well?
Well, I mean, you can never sort of rest on your laurels, that's for sure, because the Championship is very, very tough. But that is 4 unbeaten and 5 good performances in my eyes, if you include the Leeds one up to the sending off. And that's what you've got to try and build on. And I think we've done that. Probably our best home performance in terms of the dynamic that we played with, which was good. Often that relates to the opposition's style as well. You know what I mean? It was never going to be the same type of game that the Millwall game was. And but of course the players have got to play the opposition that they're in front of. And we've talked about that little bit of sparkle, maybe breaking teams down at home, and we'll try and improve that. We scored 2 goals at home and had numerous opportunities, so that's training ground work, which is positive. And then of course you've got the window that potentially you can add as well. So yeah, we'll have to be smart and we'll have to be very clever and get the right balance, but we'll see what we can do if we can keep improving on the pitch, and of course the January add 1 or 2 to give us that sparkle.
Do you see development in the side yourself, Lee, in terms of, because like the performances seem to be coming together a little bit more. A lot of the fans were saying that was like one of the best home performances they've seen for a while.
Yeah.
Quite a few were saying that's quite like what we saw last year. Yeah. With them in the Carabao Cup run, for example.
Yeah, that's what we want. And what does that come from? That comes from an 11 playing together and being cohesive and understand each other's games. It comes with time. Obviously work on the training ground. We talked about it being a new team, and I feel like this team is now starting to lose the fear. And I think that's a big phrase really, because often a new player can come in, and although they're playing well individually, haven't built that sort of rapport with their partner and stuff like that. And I just see those little partnerships forming, and both on and off the pitch, and of course that takes time. So I think for the grace of a point, we've been competing in the top 10 now for about 18 months of the division, which is not bad. So yeah, disappointed to not get the 2 extra points in that Norwich game, but we know that we're only a stone's throw away from where we want to be.
I guess the next step is just finding that extra goal to kill off teams at home, or to shut them out, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's that game management, and that's what we talked about, and that really was what came out of that scenario against Norwich, particularly throw-ins. I mean, often there's 2 choices. You're either expansive or you work the line and you work that quartile of the pitch. So yeah, that's something that we go to the drawing board with and try and give clarity for.
CallumODowda had an amazing game at the weekend, and hopefully he's going to carry on this form. I guess he got the assist in the week before at Birmingham, and you must be delighted with how he's playing at the moment.
Absolutely. I think before Callum got injured, there's 5 or 6 games there. We were talking about like how high he could go. I think the sky was his limits, and then had that injury at Hull, I think it was last season, and we definitely lost the dynamic from losing that player. Now it feels like we've got that player back, and there's nobody in the world that wants Callum to do well more than me. And I love him as a lad. I love his attitude. Spend a lot of time working with him, and he's got some really, really top class attributes. And the good thing for him, but more importantly for us as a Bristol City and a first team, is that he brought them out, and to have that competition with Nicholas Eliasson as well, that had also performed well in that position, can only be a good thing.
Just on his future, a month ago, or maybe a couple of months ago, I think you said that there were contract negotiations going on with him. I assume there's no news on that at the moment. But would you be able to just clarify for fans, is he out of contract in the summer, or
no?
Because I think
he's not out of contract in the summer. That's for sure.
I think you said before that it's standard for like a 1-year option deal to be in there. So they don't need to basically worry.
No, don't worry.
Good
We'll either sell him for fortunes, or we'll give him a new contract. Now, in my eyes, as a manager or head coach, I should say, Callum's a player that I really want to continue to work with. I think that the potential is a lot of it is still untapped, and through various reasons and stop-start type nature of football, and sometimes the injuries and the concussions that happen, and it will bear fruit for all of us really if he stays here for the next sort of 2 or 3 years of his career.
Are you expecting him to renew his deal?
I don't, to be honest. That's not the bulk of my job. Of course, I'll make recommendations, and my recommendation is to keep CallumODowda, and everybody knows that. So, but it's not up to me to negotiate the fine details, and of course that's Mark and the board to do.
Sure. And Derby up next then. What have you made of them this season? Have you been impressed by Frank Lampard's work?
Yeah, I have been impressed. It's been interesting, obviously, seeing a young English manager. He's definitely, like me, really had a front row seat in terms of his family being in management and coaching. So he's at an excellent club that have had good spends, if you like, in the summer, and he spent that well. And you can see they're a bright, energetic side. And they're difficult to play against. They've got experience in the likes of Keogh, Huddleston in that squad. They've got youth and endeavour in the 2 wide men in Lawrence and Wilson, and obviously Marriott up front that never stops running. So whoever plays a Derby County side know that they're going to be hustled and harried, and it'll be a tough test. But I do think it's similar to us in terms of style, and try and play football in the right way, and try and work hard as a unit. I think it would be a game played in a similar vein as the Norwich game. I think it would be quite an entertaining one for fans to see.
Lee, were you seriously in the race for Jack Marriott in the summer? There was some speculation that
No,
Bristol City...
we was never in the race, to be honest, and it wasn't because Jack's not a good player, because he clearly is, but it was just the level of finance, if you like, available. And I think Barry Fry, gotta love him, old Barry, was using us as a bit of a stalking horse potentially for other clubs, and I did give him a little rib shot when I saw him about that, but it's all out of love. And I think in the end Derby made a strong bid, and obviously that's where he's ended up, and Peterborough got the money they wanted, so it all worked out well for the player, the club and the selling club.
Nice one. And I think you were down watching the under-23s this week. They played Watford. How did the fringe players get on? Because a few of those guys played in that match, I think.
Yeah, right. Jada Silva played, Bailey Wright played, Marley Watkins played, Hakib played. Marley Watkins got a bit of a dead leg, but we'll see how he is. Mo Issa scored 1 great goal, 2nd goal. He scored 2, didn't he, Mo Issa? Yeah, he scored 2. 2nd goal was a great goal. So yeah, it was nice, because it's also good for the younger lads, because they get to mix with sort of some real senior seasoned professionals.
Yeah, Marlon Pack looked like he was given a team talk.
Yes, he was. Yeah, it's something that I decided. I've done it before with players like Conor Hourihane that are pretty good tactically, just to try and bring out and encourage that leadership in them. So Marlon failed to appear for the Christmas panto. So rather than fine him on his day off, we decided to bring him in and sort of educate him a little bit on the challenges of being a coach, and I've no doubt Marlon will be a coach because when he's finished, because he's an intelligent lad, he's a very honest, humble human being, and we did give him the day off, by the way. He went to the Show of Light or whatever it was at Longleat with his family, so I didn't feel it right to fine him, so I decided to use his experience for the younger players on that given occasion.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was going to say, was that? I saw, I think, a video of you on stage yourself, Lee, at the weekend, possibly in the pantomime. Was it that one, or was
it was that panto. Yeah, it was important. Listen, Christmas is an important time for families, and this is an extension of all our families. So to get everybody along to a very funny panto, it has to be said, was good. And a few of the boys, that particularly the single boys without kids, sort of turned up their nose when I made it compulsory and promised they'd laugh at least 5 times. When I was looking at them, they was very rarely not laughing. So apart from Hakeeb Al-Lukin that fell asleep, I think, during it, because I think he can fall asleep anywhere, everybody else had a good time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did the foreign lads take to that? Because they might not.
Well, Eros never stopped laughing, so I think that sort of slapstick humour of Brian Connolly, who's a very, very funny guy, by the way, went down well in Italian, that's for sure.
Great stuff. Just to round off, is there any latest injury news that we need to be aware of? How's the squad looking?
All right, just a dead leg. Marley Watkins, see how he comes out of that. You know, Webster had the injection. We'll test him out today and the next couple of days to see how he is. Who else have we got? You know, Corey's out. You know, Walsh is out. Yeah, so
Matty Taylor, is he far away? Or is he...
Matty Taylor, like, he's not fully comfortable yet. Like, it's a nuisance, that one. You know what I mean? Because it's a good one to get back in for what we need, particularly even if it be off the bench. You know what I mean? At the moment, but we'll have to see. Like, it's a funny injury, really. Like, so you don't really want to push it to the point where he's going to re-aggravate it.
And just finally, obviously a year ago, I think tomorrow or the next day, it was the great win over Manchester United. What have you done to Jose Mourinho that he's lost his job?
Oh God. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe we killed their confidence, but no, on a serious note, yeah, it's interesting to just watch it evolve, isn't it? You know, Mourinho's a fantastic manager. So much respect for him, and Man United are a huge club, so quite why it hasn't worked out is difficult to fathom, but I'm sure that will come out in the test of time. But I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. We haven't got to worry about Mourinho too much. He'll get pretty much any job he wants very, very quickly. And again, Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, have already moved on, and I'm sure they'll do very, very well moving forward.
Nice one.